Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to put the OEM front lip on your 4th gen Mazda 3 hatchback. Now this isn't going to be anything fancy, I'm just going to be documenting the steps as I go, and I wanted to do this because when I was shopping for this accessory I didn't find any videos that showed how to do this correctly. So hopefully this could be that video for you, or if you're installing the part now, this can help supplement the instructions that were included. You're going to want your car on some kind of jack up in the air. I'm on the Cork Sport not so low springs, and what I'm doing is my garage has a little drop off and then my driveway angles down, so I'm kind of just getting away with hanging it on the edge where I have the center of the wheel still on the left side and then some back stops. So you can probably make it work better. I think this is just enough room for me to get it done. Before we get going, I want to show you what the whole idea of this is, the big picture. So I'm going to take you under the car and see if I can show you the different areas. Okay, so this is the centerpiece right here. We're going to take this off so that we can get access to this, to slide this away so that we can take this piece off, because there's some screws under here, so that we'll remove all of this plastic cladding so that we can then go inside the bumper area over here and connect screws into the lip, which will go around on the outside here. So it's just taking off this piece, sliding back this piece, taking off this piece, and then again on the right side, screwing holes through, connecting the spoiler, and then putting all this back. One more thing, the instructions include the air deflector. I don't have that, and I plan on installing that at some point, but according to the instructions, you can do that whenever. You don't need to take off all these pieces again. You literally just screw it into the carpet part. So I think I also need a real jack for my car to do that, so that's just gonna be put on hold. Now the first real step that you want to do is clean the front bumper. I'd use soap and water. I need to rinse off my whole car anyways, so I'm going to do that, but you want a clean surface because the front lip will be going all the way around the bottom of the front bumper, so make sure this is nice and clean. Next, you get to do a little arts and crafts. We'll need to cut out these templates. We'll stick them on the car so we know exactly where to drill these holes. Okay, all done. That took a little while, but I tried to be precise, so we'll see how good it is. So now we're on the left side of the car. We're gonna take these cutouts we just had, and we're gonna put them along the black line here. So there's this little cutout, this little lip sort of here, but then there's the actual point where this meets the paint, and according to the instructions we're supposed to put it along the paint line. So ignore this little lip and put the piece of paper along the paint line. At least that's what the instructions look like to me. You can see for yourself here, but it looks like it's above the little lip. It's along the paint, so we'll see if I drill holes in the wrong spot, but it looks like to me it's gonna go along the paint line. Okay, I think that's how they're supposed to be. This area. Row points to where the plastic and the bumper meet. I'm along the black line here, and then same thing over here. This is taped along the rubber, these coming straight up. And here is the right side of the car. Now it's up to you what kind of tape you want to use. I have paint protection film on all of this, so I don't really care I'm just going to use normal masking tape, and that's what the instructions even say, is to use masking tape. But normally when you're on paint, you want to use painter's tape, so it's usually purple or blue. Use that for tape, but most of this is being covered up anyways, so it's up to you. The painter's tape would just be as a precaution. But there you go, that's how it looks. I think it's fitting pretty nice. Time to actually, before we start drilling, the instructions tell you to poke a hole through the center of these markings and take off the templates before it's time to drill. So what I did is I just got a little screw and poked through it, and then got a Sharpie, a fine tip Sharpie, and poked a hole, or made a mark through the little poked hole. And so this side shows what that looks like. So I put little dots around it so that I didn't confuse it for a little rock chip or something that might be down here. So like, that's 1, that's 2, and 3 is over there in the corner. I'm gonna be using a step drill for this, and so I put this through the paper just to see how big I need to go. I'm gonna mark this on the drill bit so I don't go any deeper than this. Last note before I drill, I called the place that did my PPF and asked them about what I should expect when drilling through it, and they said that it's gonna be pretty tough. So try and have a sharp drill bit and just be forceful with it and go for it. So if you don't have PPF, hopefully this will be easier than what it looks like for me. That was very easy. Okay, now that we got our holes drilled, we're gonna go under here and gonna get your 10 millimeter ratchet, and we're gonna take off, counting off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then in addition to that, there's plastic fastener. It's gonna be hard to see. I'm gonna be able to get, yeah, that right there, that plastic fastener. And on this side, it's gonna be by the wheel, yep, that plastic fastener right there. Gonna take those off. This is just the ratchet I'm using, and then to get the fasteners, I'm just planning on using this flat bar to kind of wedge in, and then this is the fastener that's back there behind the wheel, or close to the wheel. And to get it out, you're supposed to put the flat bar or whatever in between this inner and outer piece and pry open the top part. And so it's gonna look like this. And you just kind of, it's supposed to come out, and then these legs should contract, but you can see that's not happening. So this is kind of a pain to get out. So what you have to do is you'll have to pry this open and then kind of grab it by the outer edge and just twist and pull until it comes all the way out. But yeah, it's kind of a pain. Okay, this one was even harder. It's flared out more, and I think the weight of the carpet thing on this made it even harder to get out. So definitely take out these fasteners first before the screws. Okay, everything's out. For the carpet, it says to bend it and pull it away from this piece, but I think that's just to keep it from pushing down on this when you're trying to unscrew it. So I think as long as you just kind of hold it up when you unscrew these, because next what we're going to do is unscrew all these type of screws along here, and then undo these fasteners to get this plastic piece off. So I think just as long as you're kind of holding it up and know that it's pushing down on this, so just kind of like hold it up when you're unscrewing. Okay, I figured out why. You have to slide this out first to get this piece actually off. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of pushing it towards the back, pushing this piece towards the back while kind of bending it like this so that it shrinks up. to get it past this. And then I got all the screws and fasteners out of the plastic piece, so this should just kind of, you move it towards the back of the vehicle and it should come right out. Ah, forgot a fastener. It was underneath this. Okay, well, you just saw how long that fastener took me, and that was by far the hardest one in the front. Be careful with that one because your transmission is right past that, so don't be flinging your flat bar around everywhere. It's probably a good idea. Okay, the next step is going to be to take this splash shield off. And we're going to do that by taking off the fastener. I actually already took that off because I thought it was part of the middle part. Take the fastener off and take these screws off. These are about 8 millimeters if you want to keep using the ratchet, but also they have Phillips head if you want to just use a screwdriver or drill. That works too. And do the same for the right side. Quick note, there are 3 fasteners on the inside of the wheel area. Yeah, do these first. Again, you can see the third one holding on there. It's pretty far back there. All right, the splash shields are now off. That's what they'll look like. That's the position they're in naturally. Next is you're gonna take your big bolts here, the ones that held the carpet up, and you're just gonna put 2 underneath just to hold that in place. The instructions say so that it doesn't become deformed. It's, yeah, just chilling right there. So I'm gonna stick that up in 2 of its original holes and get on to the next step. Okay, I got these bolts in here now. Just put them back in. I just hand tightened them because all you're doing is just holding this in place. You're gonna take them out in a little bit anyway, so I don't think there's any reason to, I think just hand tightening them is fine. Yeah, that's good. I put 3 in. I think it just says to do 2, but whatever. Okay, so the next step, you're supposed to use these things to help prepare the surface for the double-sided tape that's on the inside of the spoiler, but I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue what this is, what the point of this part is and what it's telling me to do. You can pause the video and read this if you want, but it tells you to like put 2 layers of tape on and put it on, then peel it off and just wipe it down, which I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna wipe it down because the very next step, you have the double-sided tape that's actually on the spoiler. You just put it over it. I have no clue. I'm just gonna wipe down the whole area with isopropyl alcohol mix that I have and get on with it. So I don't have anything fancy here, just a microfiber cloth and this roughly 50-50 distilled water and IPA, isopropyl alcohol mix. I'm just gonna spray it on the cloth and wipe down everything in here, just to be safe. It says to let it dry. Be sure to let it dry, but if it's alcohol, it's gonna like flash dry in 2 seconds anyways, so that shouldn't be a problem, especially on this plastic. It's gonna soak it right up and then just flash dry. So I'm making sure to get all the way in, even on the inside a little bit, just covering everything, because why not? This area should already be clean from when you cleaned it earlier, but this is just prepping it so that the 3M tape on the inside of the lip bonds properly. Okay. That's pretty good. I'll let that dry, which shouldn't take long, then put the spoiler on. Okay, time to actually put on the spoiler, the lip, whatever. Gonna make sure that these are peeled a decent bit so they don't grab. And then these little clips right here, they'll get caught on something underneath. So as you're pushing it in, you almost gotta push this bottom piece down, kind of like pull it from underneath. You'll watch, you'll see as I do it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to pull kind of underneath. There's one. There's another. Gotta keep track of your 3M tape. I lost the one over here. Pull down so that clip can get around. I think we're centered. Now I just gotta push it back. Well guys, the holes are not right. I'm gonna have to drill a couple holes in. They just don't line up. I'll correct the first part of the video so you'll never know until now, but yeah. That had to do with lining up the paper. So I may either make some holes wider or just move some holes around. But yeah, it's tricky. Okay, this is fit on. I had to drill more holes. It didn't fit right. But now it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna undo the three big bolts underneath to get the carpet thing to hang down. And then it's time to put the splash guards back in. And the only thing you gotta note with putting the splash guards back in is that it wants you to slide it in like between this and this. So right now they're just waiting to be screwed in together. There's a little gap between them, and that's where you slide this into. Okay, showing what that looks like. I have the fasteners in by the wheel, and that's all. And so you can see I put the splash guard in between this and the body otherwise. So it should be like that along each point where you're gonna put a screw in. Okay, now that part is in. It's time to put the plastic part back in. The only thing to note is that this part is supposed to go on top of the bumper, and these parts are supposed to go in between, like the splash guard. All right, it's not that bad because it's like the kind of the only way it can go. This part's on top, that and that are in between. As a reminder, this plastic part, it's starting from the back, I guess. Fastener, screw, fastener, screw, fastener, and fastener. That's it. So next we're gonna pull this fabric back up so it rests on top of the plastic piece. As you can see, like that. Sorry, it's really hard to film and do this at the same time since I'm so low, but yeah, it was hanging down. And again, you just kind of push it back that way so that it bends in, and you can slide it in so that these hold it. Now we just take our big bolts here and put it in 7 places that you took them out of here in the carpeted part, and then your 2 big fasteners. All the fasteners are the same size except for these 2 that hold the big carpet part. All right, now all we gotta do is put the little screws in all the brackets that were added in by the spoiler. I keep calling it that, but you know what it is, the lip. So these things, anywhere you see one of these, we're gonna boop, put a screw in. So before these final screws go in, I'm gonna take the tape off and kind of press it in and let it sit. I could have taken that off earlier, but I had some real trouble getting this thing fitted correctly with the holes and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off now. All right, and there you have it, folks. That was harder than I thought, but got it done. It's looking pretty flush everywhere. It goes a little beyond the body, which surprised me. And it does that on both sides. So yeah, I don't know. I expected it to be a little bit more flush on the sides, but if it's beyond on both sides, then it is what it is. But yeah, all along it's real solid. I'm gonna wipe this down, but it's really solid. Got screws in at every point. Everything's bonded. I feel pretty good about this. I actually wasn't sure. There seemed to be a little gap right here as I was putting it in, even in the final touches, but it seems to kind of closed up. If you see something right here, that's not a gap, that's just a reflection. But yeah, hopefully this comes together. But yeah, that's the OEM front lip by the book.